Hello, Team National Parks. Here is your history roll for this week. All right, so we're going to go into courses, go to Social Studies 6, into the roll folder. You should be really good at this by now. All right, so you can see I kind of rearranged these. So these were our first rolls, and so the more recent are up here. So this is May 11th through the 15th. Happy Mother's Day today to your mothers. I hope you were nice to them. All right, so this will be the last week that you are going to do 2 lessons in one week. Yay. All right, so you know the routine. Please watch CNN 10 daily to find out what's happening in the world. All right, so the 2 lessons this week are lesson 29, the Golden Age of Athens. And you will be answering this question: what were the major cultural achievements of Athens? So let's take a look at the lesson in your online text. So here it is, the Golden Age of Athens. The sections are divided up to finding out what happens in Athens after the Greco Persian Wars. And then we concentrate on these areas in Athens. So, Greek religion in Athens, the architecture, sculpture, drama, philosophy, and sports. Again, you're highly encouraged to read the summary as well, and the investigating primary sources, the late life of Plato, learning more about Pericles. There's some really good stuff here. So if you're bored and have nothing else to do, these are really good readings. Not required, but they're good. Okay, so that is lesson 29, the Golden Age of Athens. Lesson 30 is about Alexander the Great and his empire. So we're going to be answering the question: how did he build his empire? How did he get to be so great? So again, we're going to go to the online text. Alexander the Great and his empire. Look how close we are to the end, my friends. All right, so our friend Alexander, why was he so great? And what's going on with his empire? So I know when I show you this, I kind of jump to these, but make sure you do read the introduction as well. It's a good overview. All right, so we're going to learn about the Peloponnesian War and the rise of a place called Macedonia. Here we go. How did he create his empire? How did he unite his empire? And then he spread Greek ideas. How did he do it? He used religion. How did he do that? And when he conquered cultures, he adopted their ways, which was, as we have learned in the past, very unusual for rulers to come in and be like, oh, cool, we'll do it your way, instead of, I am now the leader, you will do it my way. Maybe that's why he's considered so great. And then, as we've learned, all good things must come to an end, and we'll find out exactly how his empire crumbled. Again, there's a summary and some more exploration there. All right, so going back to our roles for the week. Oops. All right, so if you scroll down to the very bottom, you will see the Google Doc attached to the bottom below the learning targets. Now, this is the learning target for lesson 29, civilizations. That has to do with Athens. And the learning target of evidence has to do with Alexander the Great. So if you click on the Google Doc, it'll open up. Remember, you need to make your own copy of it. La, la, la. All right, here we go. So again, the question is, what were the major cultural achievements of Athens? So what you're going to be doing here in the directions, you are going to role play. You are going to be Pericles. You'll find out who he is if you don't already. And writing as him, you're going to write a speech using information you learned from the text about the major cultural achievements of Athens. And you need to make sure in your speech you include information about religion, architecture, sculpture, drama, philosophy, and sports. As I'm going through that, you should be like, oh, that's right. That's each lesson, each section within the lesson. All right. So, what is your speech about? You need to clearly convince the Athenians, and your speech should clearly convince Athenians and Greeks from other city states that Athens is a great city. I think I typed that wrong, so I will retype it. Basically, you need to say why Athens is great, but not as you. You're going to do it in a speech as Pericles. And you can start off, I have it here, you can start off with my fellow Athenians, blah, 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 blah. So I'm going to go back and retype that because I think the wording is kind of awkward there, but you get the general idea. All right, so you'll be doing that in the Google Doc. And then down here, we have Alexander the Great. So you're going to learn about these things called medallions in the lesson, and you're going to design 3 of them to show the different ways in which Alexander planned to build and unite his empire. So for each medallion, you need to have this. You need to have a simple illustration. So please, for this one, do not copy an image from the internet. I want you to do your own. You could do it, you can draw it and then insert it in. Most of you are getting really good at that, but I do not want an image taken from the internet. I will return this to you and not grade it. So please make sure you don't do that. This is also a test to see who is watching this YouTube video all the way to the end. So for each medallion, you need to have a title for it, okay? You need to have a caption under your image or over or about your image. And the caption is to describe your illustration. Remember that alien from Mars in the spaceship? What is that alien looking at? And then you need to explain also how it shows one part of his plan to unite and to build and unite his empire. Okay, so you do 3 of those. I'm going to scroll down. I have medallions A, B, and C. Okay, so that's part 1. The second part is then to choose the medallion that you think best demonstrates why Alexander is known as Alexander the Great instead of just Alexander. So out of these 3, which plan do you think was the best that he did to unify his empire? You're going to do a little decorative border around it. You could just do a circle of some sort. And then down below here, you need to explain why that part of his plan was the best. I started it off. I chose medallion blank, so it's A, B, C, because blank. Now remember, you're being scored in your learning target for evidence. So make sure you provide evidence from the text. It could be a paraphrase, it could be direct evidence, but it needs to be information that you found in the text to support your claim that this plan is essentially the reason why he's called Alexander the Great. Like, oh my goodness, that plan was genius. And that's why he deserves the title of Alexander the Great. All right, and then you will submit this in Schoology by the end of the day, Friday at 3 p.m. Looking forward to next week, my friends. Just a quick preview. Next week, we are going to round out our ancient Greece lesson, chapter, unit, talking about the legacy of ancient Greece, because out of all the civilizations that we've learned about, the legacy of Greece is probably the strongest, and it is incorporated into our daily lives more than the others. And then the week after that, you'll do your final civilization project. All right, my friends. Hopefully, this explains what you are to do in your roles. If you have any questions, you know where to find me on Monday afternoons at 1 o'clock. I have not posted them over here, but I will. All right. I will see you soon. Bye.